Hey there, welcome back friends. Today we will try to use this context.xml file, and using this particular data source we will try to connect with the database. So let's get started. First of all, we would be creating a new package. The name of the package would be org.studyeasy, and inside this package we would be creating a new servlet. The name of the servlet would be demo. Let us click on next. Everything seems to be good enough. Let us click on next. We don't need the do post method and everything is good enough. Let us click on finish. Alright, so here is our demo.java file. Let us also get rid of all of these comments. We don't need these again. Alright, so this is cool stuff. Now moving forward, let us create an object of data source. Alright, now friends, this data source object would be a private entity and the name will be again data source. Let me try to autocomplete. Here we go, and the name would be again data source. Alright, this is cool. Now we will make use of a annotation again, and this is based on resource. Now friends, what is this resource? This resource annotation help us to import, to access a resource, a external resource. Now if I check the list of attributes, one of the attribute is name, and let me check the context name. Inside this context.xml we have this name for the resource, and the name is jdbc/project, right? Now using this name we can definitely make use of this data source for connecting to the database. So in here we will give the name as definitely jdbc/project, and our work is done as of now. Alright, now let me quickly add in a couple of comments in here by pausing this video. Alright, now friends, here are the 4 steps which we need to connect with the database and get the results. Now in order to perform these 4 steps, first of all we need to have a data source object, and we need to also access the resource using the at resource annotation. So these 2 steps are definitely a prerequisite. Alright, now moving forward, let us try to initialize the connection objects. The first object which we need is the connection object. So we will type in connection connect equals null. Likewise, we would require a couple of more objects. Let me add in a couple of space in here in order to give you a better view. Next thing is statement object, and we will give the name as stempty equals null again, and then we will also need a result set, and we will give the name of the object as rs to get started, and we will again initialize this to null. Alright, so now the initialization part is done, but we would require to connect with the database. In order to do that, we will now make use of the connection object, the data source. So in here we will type in connect equals data source dot get connection. Alright, so this is good enough. Now friends, if we hover upon this particular statement, then it will ask us to handle the exception. So let us handle the exception. And in fact, when it comes to what we say database connectivity, there is always a scope of error. There is always a scope of exception. That is the reason why we should add all the statements which are related to what we say connectivity inside a try block. So we will cut these 3 comments and we will add in inside this try block. Alright, now the next step is creating the SQL statement. So let's do that. First of all, we would be creating a string entity, and we will give the name as query. Here we go, and the query would be for example, select a star from users. Now friends, what's this users? Users is nothing but name of our database inside the studyeasy_db schema. Here it is. Let me show you the contents. There are 2 rows inside this database. Alright, then moving forward, let us create a statement. So it would be like stempty equals connect dot create statement. Fantastic. Now once the statement is created, we can definitely execute the query, which is our next step. So in here, let me execute the query and the result set would be returned. So I will type in rs equals stmt dot execute query, and we will pass on the query. Alright, so this is good. Now friends, we have the result set, and the final step would be processing this result set. So let's move forward and process this result set. So in here we will type in while rs.next, and inside this while loop definitely we will process the data. And the thing is very simple. In here we will simply make use of print statement. Now in order to print to our web page, we would require a print writer, right? So let us create an object of print writer in here. So it would be created in the initialization part. So we will type in print writer out equals response dot get writer. Alright, so this looks good to me. And in here, inside this while loop, we will type in out dot print, and we will try to print first of all a br tag so that we get the result in an individual line, and then we will concatenate the result set. So we will type in result set rs dot get string. Now friends, we can either give the column index number, or we can also give the name of the specific column. So to start with, let us give the name of the column. So in here, if I show you, the names of the column are user ID, username, and email. To start with, we will simply make use of email. Alright, so this looks good to me and everything is fine. Let us try to execute this program, and if the connection is successful, we would be able to see two email addresses on our web page, and the email addresses would be chandsheikh@gmail.com and admin@studyeasy.org. Now friends, when we are trying to execute this program, there is some kind of error, there is some kind of issue. Now if we check the console, we can easily make out that the issue is based on the context bond. And if we read out this error, then it is no naming context bond to this class loader. Now this is definitely an issue with the JNDI resource. Now the fix is very simple. Let me show you. In here, if I navigate to our code, we have added the resource, but there is no container. In fact, the sequence of these two statements are not correct. We need to firstly give the resource, and then we need to also give the container, and the container is nothing but the data source. Alright, now after fixing this issue, I think our program should work, and I don't feel that there is anything which we need to do to get started with the database connectivity. Alright, so this will take a couple of seconds in order to restart the web server and show us the output. And here we go. Perfect. So we are able to see the output. Perfect. Now friends, the connection has been established successfully and we are able to see the output. In our next section, we will try to build a full-fledged proper application which will definitely help you to understand how we deal with the database connection and how we perform the CRUD operations. Alright, so something very interesting is coming up from the next section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.